All right, hi everyone. My name is Ryan Fitzpatrick.
I'm Jordan Wojciechowski.
I'm Thomas Klingner.
I'm Mark McNiff.
And I'm Tyler Mashing.
And we conducted a holistic strategic analysis of the Sears Corporation. Our agenda today is that we're going to start with the history and mission statement of Sears, move on to the business and corporate level strategy, and then look at the external and internal analysis, along with the SWOT, key problems, critical issues, and finally the recommendations. Here's Mark to start off with the history.
So Sears was founded in 1886 by Richard Warren Sears as a mail-order catalog company. In 1925, due to rising competition from chain stores, Sears opened its first department store. Due to the department store success, Sears was able to create its first brand names such as Kenmore, Craftsman, and Die Hard. Sears decided to expand due to the success by creating Allstate Insurance and Financial Services. This is seen as a strategic mistake made by Sears since they moved away from their core business and it allowed competition to enter the market. In 1999, they began using the internet to try to attract customers to make sales through the web. In 2005, Sears and Kmart merged to try to expand their department store industry. And recently, they've been having financial issues, which is causing them to sell stores, such as their nonprofit ones, and some of their successful stores as well, to try to recover from their financial situation. The mission statement should be used as a way of communicating the purpose of the organization. Sears' mission statement is to grow our business by providing quality products and services at great value when and where our customers want them, and by building positive, lasting relationships with our customers. They try to show that their main stakeholder in the company is the customer and that they will be there for every need the customer has. The business level strategy of Sears is differentiation. Unlike Target and Walmart, who use low cost business level strategy to try to retain their customers, Sears tries to differentiate their products by using premium products such as the Kardashian collection. They also use customer service as a way to try to provoke customers into their department stores. They also provide services such as repair and maintenance, which is difficult for Walmart and Target to compete with since they don't have that. They have two corporate level strategies. One is related constrained. This puts together their services and their retail industry. Since they sell stuff such as laundry, they provide services to retain those products. They also have an unrelated corporate level strategy because of their financial services and insurance. They don't really relate to their core business, which is retail, which has 60.92% of their profits, and the insurance and financial services have no relation to that.
When looking at the external analysis, the external environment is made up of the general environment, which includes political and legal, sociocultural, technological, economic, demographic, global, and physical. All these factors impact the industry. When looking at the economic environment, it is important to look at several indicators such as GDP, CPI, interest rates, and unemployment. After the crisis in 2008, we have seen increases in GDP and CPI, as well as decreases in unemployment. These are favorable economic conditions for the industry. This allows consumers to have more discretionary income and spend it on the department store industry. When looking at the global environment, the department store industry is a U.S.-dominated market and has few global competitors. The industry relies on its supply chain and logistics to import goods internationally and distribute them nationwide. Oil prices are highly volatile and directly affect transportation costs, which in turn affect industry returns.
Workforce diversity is becoming crucial for success in the department store industry. The U.S. Census Bureau reports that people of color, who currently make up about 1/3 of the population, will become a majority by 2042. Also, the country's Hispanic population is expected to nearly triple by 2050, while African American and Asian populations are each expected to grow about 60%. Keeping up with these dynamics and hiring a diverse workforce that truly represents the customer demographic will be crucial to finding success for these department stores. It's important to have diversity within the workforce because it ensures that decisions are being made by the interests of the department store's true diverse demographic, and customers will also feel more comfortable doing business with companies whose employees reflect the diversity of their own communities.
When looking at the technological environment, being able to keep up to date with technology is extremely important and a major component to the industry's operations and inventory. Systems like point of sale and radio frequency identification are improvements that make daily operations simpler and more efficient. These give greater control over the supply chain and ensure the distribution of goods and increased productivity. With these advancements, a need for heightened security is a growing concern for firms. Combating theft is a priority, and by having signature capture technology, closed-circuit monitoring, and RFID are ways to prevent it. Shopping online is also a growing trend among consumers. By implementing online ordering capabilities and developing apps and programs that are more member-centric, help in the appeal to the changing wants of the customer.
For the political and legal environment, the online retail tax is a pretty big issue today. Some states do not require online retailers with no physical presence in that state to collect sales tax, which gives online retailers based in only one state a huge advantage. On top of that, minimum wage rates have been increasing across the United States, putting financial strain on all businesses in the economy, despite the fact that there is a little bit more disposable income.
Environmental issues are becoming a priority in business management across the nation. Operating an environmentally friendly business is considered a top priority for businesses, especially nationwide and international companies. Many regulations are already in place to keep business eco-friendly. The Environmental Protection Agency and the U.S. Department of Energy are regulators for environmental laws, waste disposal, sustainability, carbon emissions, and an eco-friendly supply chain, which are also key environmental issues which potentially constrain the ability of a business to achieve its objectives. Local authorities will also regulate air pollution, air quality, noise, odor, and light pollution.
The competitor environment is comprised mostly of four major firms that make up about 70% of the market share. Target Corporation, which was established in 1902, is Sears' biggest competitor. They have 37% of the department store market share. Their slogan, "Expect more, pay less," is very indicative of their integrated strategy of differentiated and cost leadership. Target is now an American icon that's recognized by 90% of Americans, which is a big deal because, just having that in their minds, they're a trusted company. And their future objectives is that they're going to be working to aggressively add more grocery lines to all their stores. Macy's was founded in 1858 in New York and became the world's largest department store in 1924. Today it's known worldwide and is definitely an American icon due to things like the Thanksgiving Day Parade and the 4th of July fireworks. The company is very focused on branding, which is indicative of a differentiation strategy, and its future objectives include selling high-valued property in order to boost revenues. Walmart was founded in 1962 by Sam Walton, and it evolved a cost leadership strategy after significant expansion. It's the world's largest company now by revenue, with 11,000 retail units worldwide, 2.2 million employees. So this gives them significant economies of scale, which they can utilize. Walmart will continue to pursue their low-cost strategy, and for the first time in years will actually be closing 269 stores, ending years of expansion. For the strategic groups, we have Walmart and Target on the lower end of customer service and quality because although they do have some sort of quality and customer service aspects to them, they're definitely both focused pretty much completely on price. JCPenney, Macy's, and Sears kind of skirt the line between customer service and quality. They're not like a Nordstrom where you walk in, you expect to be greeted, you expect to be helped the whole time, and you expect to get a premium quality product.
So out of the Porter's five forces, the three that play a key factor in the department industry are threat of new entrants, threat of substitute products and services, and rivalry among firms. Threat of new entrants is high. There are low barriers of entry in the department store industry. A concerning factor in this industry is the ability of customers to price shop and compare prices across retailers before making a purchase, making buyers have low switching costs. Overall, the threat of new entrants is high since the industry presents a great opportunity for online shopping and e-commerce to take up a large portion of new business in the industry. The rivalry amongst competitors is also high. The two major competing factors is price and selection. There are 6 major players that account for 88% of the total market share. The department stores that can't compete at the low cost try to compete at differentiating instead of with their product selection. Consumers are also not as brand loyal, so it makes it easier for them to switch among the rivals. And there's also the online factor, such as e-commerce, that is also taking away customers from the department store industry. The threat of substitute products and services is also high. The online shopping, once again, is offering more convenience, which is making it easier for customers to shop there because it provides a better service for them. The switching costs from retail to online is also little to none, so that's also not a factor for them. And there's also places such as warehouse clubs that have larger packaging than department stores, and they also come at a discounted price. And then there's also super centers that offer specialty goods with wider selections than department stores usually have.
Awesome, thanks, Mark. So now we'll talk a little about the revenue growth, specifically with Sears, as well as the rest of the industry. So as you can see from this graph, Sears competitors, direct competitors, Walmart, Target, and Macy's have both had positive year-over-year revenue growth. Now that has decreased since 2011. However, those numbers are still positive for Sears direct competitors. We actually had to exclude Sears from the year-over-year revenue growth average in order to get a accurate figure. As you can see from this graph as well, in 2015, Sears revenue growth actually decreased to 13.79% for that year over the previous year. Now, sustaining such negative sales growth from year to year cannot be sustained for long periods of time. Now, discussing the profitability, which goes hand in hand with the year-over-year revenue growth. As you can see here, the net profit margin on average is about 4%. Now that has decreased slightly in 2015 because we did include Target's 2013 cyber breach. Now this cyber breach actually happened in 2013. However, they posted their net losses over 2014 and 2015 as they can roll forward their losses according to tax regulations. Now Sears is that blue graph towards the bottom. And as you can see there, they've had no profitability over the last 4 years. Since 2012, their net profit margin has been about negative 6%. Now, some of Sears' critical financial issues that have to be discussed. So first off, looking at their stock price. In just the beginning of last year, May 2015, their stock price was about $45 a share. Today, just about 1 year later, their stock price has been cut in half at least. It's currently trading around $15 a share. In 2015 alone, the year-over-year sales growth was about negative 14.5%. Now that can't be sustained over long periods of time. Their profit margins have been negative over the last 5 years, from 2011 to 2015. They're currently burning cash at a rate of $2.8 billion per year, while only having $250 million of cash on their books. Should this trend continue, they'll actually run out of cash within the end of this year.
Sears' value chain consists of supporting activities that include firm infrastructure, human resource management, technology, and procurement. The firm's primary activities include inbound, outbound logistics, operations, marketing and sales, and service. We will now go into further detail for the value chain activities that have the most impact to the department store industry.
When looking at the core competencies, Sears focuses on customer service, their variety of products, and having a nationwide distribution system. Sears uses a distributed order management system that aids in deciding what order should be fulfilled where and provides flexibility to adjust those decisions in near near real time based on capacities and distribution centers and stores across the country. This system has greatly improved their distribution network. By using Fusion Transportation Intelligence, Sears gains valuable access to current information needed to expedite purchasing and shipping processes. This also provides visibility into its important import operation, allowing it to better manage inbound flows. Sears is able to break down raw data more efficiently and compile reports that are easily accessible for different single business units and logistics teams. These teams can better forecast and have increased visibility in decision making. Sears Cheetah is their new and improved distribution network that has significantly reduced their shipping times. Sears has moved away from a single distribution network based in Chicago to a nationwide system that leverages distribution centers across the nation in strategic geographical locations. This allows 2-day shipping to nearly 99% of the country. When looking at operations, Sears has a variety of departments and products that appeal to a large range of consumers and demographics. Exclusive brands such as Kenmore, Craftsman, and Die Hard help distinguish Sears and help draw customers into the store. Another aspect Sears focuses on is having specialized sales associates. These highly trained and knowledgeable associates put an emphasis on customer service.
Sears has shifted a lot of focus to its customer service by introducing their Blue Crew customer service program. This program helps customers contact expert technicians through a hotline or easy-to-use website. Sears Blue Crew has various divisions which work on their appliance service and tool product lines. All Sears technicians receive about 320 hours of training before they are released into the field. Sears local training would include 2 weeks at the Sears Home Service Chicago Tech School in training classes, and then a short apprenticeship with an experienced tech for about 8 weeks. Technicians learn how the appliances work and how to troubleshoot the appliances for problems. Sears Blue Appliance Crew has about 6,600 experts available to the customers across the nation, and each technician performs about 1,100 repairs each year. Sears holds their employees as the most important intangible asset to their organization. Sears offers an annual incentives program that is based on their employees' performance, paying out higher bonuses for better performance. Sears also is known to recruit young talent that fits along with its organization's core values to keep the best available employee talent in Sears operations. This increased employee performance and satisfaction is an example of value that's created from Sears' HR department.
For the SWOT analysis, we just wanted to go over and highlight a few of the big ones. For the strengths, the customer service and branding definitely add a lot of value to the company. The biggest weakness the company is facing is definitely the financial troubles. Opportunities would probably be grocery sales because the one-stop shopping is such a big thing in today's society. And then the biggest threat would probably be online retailers.
Now we'll talk about the critical issues and kind of develop our recommendations and talk about our implementation plan. So Sears' critical issues that they're currently facing is their poor cash management. They currently have $250 million of cash on their books, and at their high cash burn rate of $2.8 billion a year, they're not going to be able to sustain that very long into the future. They currently have very poor financial statements. Their ratios are out of whack, and they can barely pay back their short-term creditors. Their current liabilities are 2 times greater than their current assets. They also have lack of access to the capital markets. Due to the fact that they have poor bond ratings, their bond ratings according to Fitch are currently CC. Now that will require them to have a high yield and high interest rate on their bonds. So some of our recommendations are basically, we have 3 of them here. The first one is competing on price or quality, on quality or price. The only reasonable thing that Sears could do to compete on quality or price is compete on quality. If they chose to compete on price, they'd be competing more against Walmart and Target, which those are basically the low-cost leaders, and that's not really what Sears is focused on. Sears is focused more on their service and their quality of products. The other thing that we're recommending they do is focus on a faster liquidation process. They're currently trying to sell off about 50 underperforming stores. However, this process is taking them a significant amount of time. What we're recommending they do is sell off those stores at an extremely fast rate and include stores that are maybe not underperforming, but not actually performing to the best level of the best stores. And the third recommendation we have is the main recommendation we're going to actually go into further detail on, and that's what we're going to recommend is Chapter 11 bankruptcy. So with this Chapter 11 bankruptcy, they get to basically restructure their assets and take as much time as they need in order to do that. Now, some of the main pros and cons here, what we're going to do is we're going to implement a 4 pillars project in order to successfully implement the strategy for Sears moving in the future. The first thing is their operations. So while they're under the Chapter 11 restructuring, everything is basically in a frozen state, which means they can continue their operations, not have to lay off employees, and continue with a positive employee morale. Now, another thing we're going to recommend with the operations change is that employees that are not laid off, who are still in stores, have weekly sales challenges to see who can sell the most amount of products. Now, talking about their assets. So they only have $250 million in cash, and they're burning cash at $2 billion a year. Now, they currently have about $11 billion of assets on their books. Now, what our team believes they can do is actually sell these assets off at an even quicker rate. And from those $11 billion, we believe that they can generate about $2 billion in cash from selling their assets on the open market at the moment. The third thing we recommend they do is use a strategy in Chapter 11 bankruptcy called executory contracts. With those executory contracts, you can actually cancel any long-term contracts that Sears has. The best benefit of this is that Sears is greater than 100 years old, so if there's any old contracts that are still on their books, they can actually cancel those and not have to pay any more money out. And then lastly is the debt restructuring. So they currently have a lot of debt, about $3.5 billion that is due in the next 5 years. And what we're recommending they do is roll that over into one long-term facility, which will then be issued at a junk bond rate. This will provide a high yield. However, they're going to have a great tax deduction with this and roll forward their losses over the next 2 to 5 years. Now, the biggest benefits from this strategy is increased liquidity, generating the $2 billion in cash from the sale of the assets, canceling the long-term contracts since they've been around for about 100 years, providing the increased tax shield, which will actually increase the value of the firm, and also it'll decrease the amount of interest due in the next 5 years. Now, with that, we leave you for any questions you may have.